single time that he has to make a new character and regrind all those levels, so it's not really meant for casuals. Which is then also why a lot of people were surprised when Musk revealed via his Gaming X account that his new character, Percy, was already on the leaderboard.
Elon Musk's character is currently level 97, aka rank 12 on hardcore, that's permanent death mode, Trade League.
And then on January 7th, he did another live stream with a character which was now level 97 and way up on the leaderboards. And it's this live stream where borderline irrefutable proof came out that Musk wasn't playing the account himself normally, at least according to very experienced PoE hardcore players and streamers like Quinn and Kriparian earlier this week. Which also, I'll say as a quick note, when this first happened and people started talking, we didn't cover this. It was weird, but Elon's weird. And we're kind of just waiting to see if Elon himself would respond, which he actually did today, so that's why we're talking about it. But apparently, the first big giveaway was his level. With, for example, Quinn pointing out that getting to 97, it is a major feat and it takes for fucking ever.
2 weeks into the league, when people are playing the game, literally, they're staying up 40 to 50 hours without sleeping, only playing Path of Exile, and they are the most try-hard guys in the world. The highest ranked player on the Hardcore Trade League was level 93.
We then see him point out that despite only being 4 levels away, it's a big grind to get to 97 since the time required is exponentially more, summarizing that Elon has pretty much only been playing PoE, which must be especially true because his Percy character was seemingly made in early January after his original character Kekimus Maximus died. So it isn't a month of progress, but a couple of weeks at best doing almost nothing but playing Path of Exile. But then another red flag for Quinn being that Musk had items used for doing endgame content stored as Elon's maps, all of which were relatively easy to complete. And the reason that stands out is that if you're organizing your items, you're not going to write Phil's maps, Phil's currency, but just, maps, which to them seemed to imply that someone else had set these aside for Elon, not to mention that
Elon Musk didn't play Path of Exile 1. In Path of Exile 2, maps are actually called waystones. And he never actually refers to them as maps. He calls them...
Play another round here. This is a hard level. Waystone.
So it's just kind of weird that he's, again, called his tab Elon's map. So almost like someone who's a Path of Exile 1 veteran, is kind of making that tab and be like, Elon, there's a tab there called Elon's Maps. Grab your map out there. I've rolled them all for you. They're nice and easy.
You also had Quinn saying that Elon clearly doesn't know how to navigate the endgame's core system by clicking on something that is inaccessible over and over, because he'd need to have interacted with this literally thousands of times to get to 97. Or also pointing out that when he's fighting a boss, he runs out of resources despite having ways to refill it instantly. And then, while playing, he doesn't have what's called a loot filter, which hides or highlights gear depending on how important it is. We're saying that he's just using the game's default, which no one uses that far into the game. We're saying that the filter is universally used, and I mean universally because the amount of stuff that drops in the game, it can be overwhelming. But it makes it easier to see the good stuff that drops to pick up, which Musk could have used because he just walks by one of the game's most useful and valuable currencies while playing, since it's not highlighted in a special way.
But what becomes obviously apparent...
Chaos Orb, no loot filter.
Is like, no, he's just running past Chaos Orbs! He just ran past the Chaos Orb!
Chaos Orbs are one of the most important currencies, and they're also really rare. I have about 140 Exalts. I have like 9 Chaos Orbs. Just so you guys understand.
But then finally, regarding what people have pointed out, I'll end with how he describes items. Because in short, it's claimed that he doesn't know the fundamentals of how gear works. So the non-technical version is that Musk claims that his gear isn't very good, despite likely being among the best in hardcore right now.
This is a great staff, but it's only a level, 62 staff.
His weapon is, I kid you not, one of the best, if not the best staffs on the entire hardcore Trade League. You cannot even buy it. Insane weapon.
These affixes are, I'd hate to say perfect, but they might be perfect.
We see of Musk claiming that his gear is so many levels below his level 97 character, except in PoE that has nothing to do with its power. It's just the minimum requirement to use it. Like, there are items that require level 1 and they're among the strongest in the game. And this also isn't stuff that you can just find on the ground. A player would need to understand how to craft items and trade super efficiently to reportedly even attempt gear this good. And honestly, we could go on and on for the non-gamers out there. This is the smallest version of this story. But if you want more, and I mean even more granular details, definitely check out Quinn's video. I'm gonna link to it in the description. But ultimately, you had Quinn ending his video by saying,
and if you needed any more proof that Elon is 100% boosted, he was playing the game today inside of maps, blasting, while simultaneously on a X space talking to some far right wing part of some German government. I don't know, some political bullshit.
exactly. And so all of this was enough to convince a lot of people that Musk was just lying about being good at games. Right as we saw Moist Critical putting out a multi-million view video just confused about why he even lies about shit like this. Others saying and asking, obviously it's kind of silly to be so invested in whether or not Elon is lying about his Diablo account, but it's kind of clear he bought it. If he's willing to go on Joe Rogan and lie about something so stupid, is this really someone you want influencing your government? And also, why did it take Path of Exile for people to realize Elon Musk is a fraud, LOL? In fact, some in the space like Asmongold are so confident that Musk did not pilot his own account that he said,
if Elon Musk can prove that he played this account to 97, I will stream on X starting the day that he proves it for an entire year straight, every single stream that I do.
But with all of that said, today Elon Musk actually responded, with him seemingly denying account sharing and joking.
Am I going to comment on the Chinese driver of my Path of Exile account? Yes, his name is Elon Ma, and he's amazing. I rely on him for everything.
With him then quote tweeting that video saying, "I love my Chinese alter ego." Although with that, I'll say the fun here may have come to an end because that character actually died at rank 7 on the leaderboard. So it appears that it's back to square one for Musk and or whoever is playing that account insanely well. Now, as far as what is definitely happening here or what's real or not real, I don't know. With this kind of stuff, I leave it to the nerds to figure out, and I say nerd with love. I'm a news nerd. I haven't been a gaming nerd in 12 years, broke too many controllers. Only a keyboard or two, always sucked with a keyboard. But for the gamers and non-gamers alike out there, I gotta ask, what are your thoughts about all this drama? But then, to shift gears, we need to talk about this big drone controversy. Right, because DJI, who reportedly has a 90% share of the global consumer drone market, they announced this week that they are no longer geofencing its drones from flying over restricted areas like airports and certain government buildings. With them saying in their post, when DJI first introduced the Geo system in 2013, consumer drones were still a relatively novel technology and formal drone flight rules and regulations were sparse. With them adding, the geofencing system was created as a voluntary built-in safety feature to help foster responsible flight practices. But then adding, since then, global regulations and user awareness have evolved significantly with a greater focus on geo-awareness and remote ID solutions, which makes detection and enforcement much easier. And so now, instead of having a geofence that prevents these devices from going over restricted spaces, operators will get in-app alerts to notify them if they're near a restricted zone. Or, as places like The Verge have put it, only common sense, empathy, and the fear of getting caught by authorities will prevent people from flying where they shouldn't. And while you may agree or disagree with this move, it is very much worth noting that DJI is not violating any regulations by removing the geofence, with even an FAA spokesperson telling The Verge that it doesn't require geofencing from manufacturers. But of course, some are still concerned, with DJI's former policy VP writing, "This is a remarkable shift in drone safety strategy with a potentially enormous impact." With him then also adding, there was substantial evidence over the years that automatic drone geofencing implemented using a risk-based approach contributed significantly to aviation safety. Right, and this, as others have noted, that all of this is happening as, the recent headlines have made people very wary of drones, right? I mean, you have the mystery sightings in New Jersey and other states concerning a lot of people. Also, more recently, drone use actually disrupted the response to the wildfires in Los Angeles after a civilian drone collided with a firefighting plane last week. And while luckily that plane was able to land safely after the incident, the collision did puncture a hole in its wing, and so it had to be grounded after that. And this notably is that plane was one of the super scoopers that drops water over the fire, so taking it out of commission was a setback to putting out the fire. And a key thing here is that also happened even though flying a drone over a wildfire area is a no-no. Right, the FAA imposed temporary restrictions barring any unauthorized drones from flying in zones that were impacted by the fires, which is also why the FBI is now investigating the incident to find the operator of that drone. Also, a key thing that I'll say here is this is just one instance of drones getting in the way of these efforts, because we've seen reports now saying that multiple drones have flown over the Palisades fire, which then forces the firefighting aircrafts to leave the area, and understandably that pisses off the people who are on the front lines trying to put out the blazes, which is why we've seen tons of people bring that up amid DJI's decision, especially since some reports are claiming that the drone involved in the collision was in fact a DJI. Also, on top of all that, you have some noting that DJI's move will raise intelligence and security concerns because DJI is a China-based company, with Congress even considering banning sales of drones from major Chinese manufacturers. But for now, what we're seeing from DJI is they are reminding drone users to follow local laws and obtain authorization to conduct flights in warning zones. And this is, they've also noted that the US is not the first place to have geofencing rolled back, right? This update has actually been active in the UK and several European countries since last year. But ultimately, for now, that is where we are with this, and I'd really love to know your thoughts on this in those comments down below. And I mean that for kind of everyone, whether you have no experience with drones, you're a drone hobbyist enthusiast, maybe you're a drone operator, or maybe you're also just someone in aviation. And then, we'll get back to the news in a moment, but one of the most annoying things is when you sign up for a free trial, innocently forget about it, and suddenly you're getting charged every month. And then canceling, what a headache. But that is why I love today's sponsor, Rocket Money, right? They make dealing with subscriptions actually painless, right? Because Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions subscriptions monitors your spending and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. They show all my subscriptions in one place, and they help me cancel the ones that I forgot about, so I'm not wasting money anymore. And Rocket Money's dashboard, it gives a clear view of my expenses across all of my accounts, making it simple to track spending, set budgets, and get alerts for